The phoenix can be found in many corners of modern storytelling, with its associated symbolism perforating modern culture, the phoenix rising from the ashes being a symbol for rebirth. But just how did this symbol start? What was the inspiration behind this creature? And what else does the phoenix represent? And did any sort of similar bird actually exist? Welcome to Soothing Saturday, I'm Shifu Payne, and today let's not flap about too much as we take a look at this mythical firebird, a symbol of rebirth and of starting anew. And let's go back to the earliest record of the phoenix to see just where it all began. The actual name of phoenix traces back to Greek, with it meaning reddish purple, which could be a reference to its fiery affiliation, with the Greek name phoenix being translated through Latin to become the name we have today. So if the name is Greek in origin, it only makes sense to look there first. Let's take a look at Herodotus' Histories, a text written around 425 BCE. The text is considered today to be the founding historical text, comprising of the political structures, cultural traditions, and relationships between various countries, all leading into the Greco-Persian War. And one of the subjects which Herodotus wrote on is the phoenix. According to Herodotus, the phoenix is a bird similarly sized and shaped to an eagle, with a red and gold plumage. The phoenix travels from Arabia to the city of Heliopolis in Egypt, to the temple of Helios, or Ra, to die and be reborn, placing the ashes of its former self in an egg made of myrrh and burying it at the temple, doing this once every 500 years. The myth gives us a general description of the bird which has remained pretty much similar to this day, with the connection to Ra or Helios serving as a connection to the sun, and ostensibly the cycle of setting and rising that the sun undergoes every evening and morning. Scholars have hypothesized that Herodotus was inspired to tell this story based on the story of the Bennu, a species of bird and type of heron that went extinct by around 2500 BCE. The Bennu was sacred to the city of Heliopolis and held up as a symbol of the soul of Ra, which connects the two birds on that front, but on the rebirth connection, we need to take a look not at birds, but instead at Ra. The story of Ra's sunboat and how it travels through the kingdoms of day and night serves as a thematic connection to the phoenix, with the boat itself being representative of the sun as it travels through the sky, carrying the sun god on its journey, with Ra himself dying and being reborn during the myth. So it would be justifiable to say, by me, that the story of the phoenix is actually a story that has been syncretized for a Greek audience by Herodotus, syncretizing the stories of the Bennu and Ra's sunbark and changing them for a Greek audience, as Greeks are wont to do. Let's also quickly mention the Precepts of Chiron, a poem written sometime between 800 and 180 BCE. Super helpful timeline there. We only have fragments of the poem. Most attribute its writing to Hesiod, but others say it was written by someone else and only attached to the name of Hesiod. Point being, someone wrote it. One of these fragments mentions a phoenix, with the fragment being about a group of nymphs comparing their lifespans to that of a bird, establishing the name and the long life deal. So it's not at all unfair to make the theory that Herodotus heard about this and attached the rebirth stuff for the previously explained reasons. But what is a rebirth without metamorphosis? Ovid and his writing, Metamorphosis, gave us a plethora of retellings, mostly coming from the angle of the Greco-Roman gods being vindictive, malicious entities who see people as playthings. For easy examples, just take a look at the stories of Medusa or Arachne. But Ovid also retells the story of the phoenix. Much of the story contains the same points and flowing narrative. The phoenix goes to a place every 500 years to die and be reborn by combusting, and then growing anew from the ashes. But instead of the temple to Helios, it is instead on the tallest branch of a palm tree, with the phoenix making a nest for itself out of various pieces of incense, such as cassia bark, nard, cinnamon, and myrrh. And once the bird is fully rebirthed, it leaves this nest at the door of the temple of Hyperion, another sun god. It did not then take long for the story of the phoenix to change, and for the themes of rebirth to become more explicit, while the themes around the sun and that sort of connection was minimized. When Christian theologians came across the story, no surprises there, because Christianity has never come across a culture it could not retrofit or erase completely. The 12th century brought us the Aberdeen Bestiary, a codex depicting fictitious or mythical animals as real and within the ecosystem, with there being an entry for the phoenix. In this version, instead of the phoenix being red and gold, the bird is instead purple, with purple at the time being a rare pigment or dye for clothing. It was considered expensive and of high quality, only reserved for royalty, and so the phoenix attained royal connotations. There is only one phoenix to exist in this telling, rather than there being a species, and the connotations of the rebirth are less to do with the sun and more so with the death and resurrection of Christ. Because, of course, in this telling, the bird reforms in a 9-day process instead of it being a 24-hour thing. Yes, because reforming from spontaneous combustion is really just as easy to get over as the sniffles. The phoenix also becomes symbolic of Exodus, being compared with the righteous ones who will be reborn after Judgment Day, and all the judgment involved. And so the phoenix became synonymous with Christ. The story and the symbol carried on into the modern day, and there is nothing else about the story, right? Wrong! For as it turns out, the Crusades were going on right as the bestiary was written, and so with the phoenix being written as a migrating bird from Arabia, the phoenix became linked with Arabs. More specifically because of the Christ connection, they became synonymous with those that converted to Christianity, reborn as people of faith, unlike the Muslims the Crusaders were fighting against, the phoenix ultimately becoming a symbol for the renouncing of sin, almost like confession, becoming reborn as true followers of Christ. The phoenix became a go-to symbol in medieval English history, with the phoenix, or the symbol of the phoenix, being depicted in crests, artwork, and even old Will Shakespeare got in on the fun, comparing the young Elizabeth I to the Firebird in reference to her burgeoning queenship. In more contemporary times, the phoenix can be found wherever you look, in books, films, artwork, mascots, even flags. So why is it that this bird holds such sway over our collective imagination? I mean, I know a hot bird can turn heads and everything, but this much? More than anything, I think it is relatability. That ability to shake off the past and become a better or stronger version of oneself is something which we all have had to go through at some point in our lives. And so in our own way, we are all phoenixes in our own right. Because we ourselves undergo a change or rebirth, with every cell in our body being replaced and changing. So every sort of 10 years or so, we literally become a new version of ourselves, both physically and also mentally, as we go through different experiences and mature more. Such a transformative, powerful process is representative of our wish to be better, to reach a higher level than we were previously. That, or maybe the image of a bird on fire is a powerful image. Speaking of firebirds so much, does anyone fancy some KFC? Thank you for watching this week's video, and in the comments let me know what your take is on the story of the phoenix and what it represents. But with that, thank you all for watching, and until next time everyone, peace be with you.